Nigeria, from politics to policy, economy to everyday life. If Nigeria is talking about it, you'll find it on the Big Three. The Big Three, more than the headlines, is where the conversation lives. Only on Nigeria Info 95.1 FM. The Big Three.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon to you and you and you. Yes, all of you listening in, all of you watching right now. If you're on our live stream via Facebook and YouTube, and if you're not, you might want to go there for a more immersive experience. All the same, it's good to have you here at 3:14 p.m. on your number one talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info. My name is Somi. That's S-O-M-I, short for Somi. Welcoming you, saying, welcome to the new week. I guess the final one in the month of November. There was a time when I would have said Christmas is in the air, but I can't smell nothing. I really can't smell anything. Grateful for the weather, a little bit of a chill in the evenings. Not so sure about the mornings, but, something to calm us down and cool us from the day. Either way, find something to be grateful for as you're wrapping up November and entering into the final month of the year, December. That's what I have to say to you as we start out the show today. Once again, welcome. It's Hard Facts here, and we get into some of the hardest conversations on the airwaves, if you will. We are going to be having a number of them, starting with the Big Three, which is on from now till about 4:30. We'll take a break, then go into some sound bites, catch a little bit of some other updates from what we didn't share on the Big Three, after which we will get into our conversation for this afternoon or evening, if you will. That starts by 5 p.m. And by then, we are going to be looking at some of the recent court judgments that we've seen, drawing some kind of parallels, if you will, between them, trying to make sense, like I did say we're going to do last week, of what our justice system is on about these days. Nnamdi Kanu's judgment was out last week. There have been a number of reactions, everything from some people extraction saying, better that there was even a court procedure that led to a judgment that they can now seek to, not appeal, they said, but seek for pardon from the president, to Oji Kalu saying about it. And then you look at side by side what happened with the 20-year sentence. I struggled with that a lot, even all through the weekend. And so we're going to be breaking that down with our guests. We're going to be having some lawyers join us in the studio from 5 p.m. to 6 on the conversation to take a look at that. And then from 6 to 7, we get into our open mic, if you will, eyewitness reports, situational updates coming from you. All of that that we have on the lineup of the show for today. Okay, now it's been a long weekend, I'm sure, for a lot of us. Even coming into Monday, you want to think, okay, we're catching a bit of a reprieve. Hearing, the 38 churchgoers in Kwara State had been. It's not clear really what the conditions for their return were, because shortly after they were kidnapped, there was talk of ransom demands, starting at, was it 100 million per person, and it being reduced to about 20 million thereabouts. Long story short, they're out, and we're breathing a sigh of relief. Also, coming from the week prior into the weekend, one of the things that we're having to deal with was the additional kidnappings that were happening left, right, and center, pretty much. Some of them made it into the news, some of them didn't even make it to the news. One of the biggest ones, of course, we had updates from CAR in Niger State coming out to say, look, we had over 200 people, children, both primary, secondary, and teachers getting whisked away in the Niger State attack. We've got an update saying the number in total about 315, which is 303 pupils and students, and then teachers. And then we also hear that about 50 of them escaped. Escaped being the operative word, because our president came out and spoke to some of those issues, right? But they escaped, right? So you're thinking, okay, we're catching a bit of a reprieve, and then you wake up this morning and you get more of those reports coming. And this time around, more kidnappings going on. And so our first story today on the Big Three, we're going to be looking at the fallout of everything that happened from Friday all through the weekend into today, especially as regards the shutting down of school. As far as we can tell, at the very least, 5 states have shut down schools across Nigeria. Also report about Niger State ordering that some schools sharing the border with the FCT as well should be shut down. Garam Access, I believe that's the name of the area. We're having schools shut down in that area as well. But pretty much what we're having is, this is the response: shut down the schools. If I recall correctly, there was one particular state that said that they were going to shut down all the way up until January. And, first and foremost, you want to think, let us save our children. Let us save our children. And so in some of these areas that are crisis-ridden, sort of like terrorist hotbeds, you're thinking that's a good thing to do. And it's great. First steps, right? So that, because there was that back and forth at some point when the Niger State incident happened. It was Niger State, where the government came out saying that they had issued warnings that all schools should remain shut. But then St. Mary's went ahead and opened despite government warnings, and St. Mary's came out to report that and said there was no such notice of schools being shut down. So it's possible that states are trying to be proactive, if you will, or preemptive, even before some of these attacks happen, to say shut down, right? I can imagine if they did tell St. Mary's and schools within that axis of Niger State to shut down, even before the attack happened, you can imagine that this notice must have been out much earlier, right? And so you're having these schools being shut down. Bauchi State has shut down as a matter of fact, I think Bauchi, has been the most drastic that we've seen so far. It's not just schools in some areas. All schools across Bauchi State are shut down. And this is whether it's primary, secondary, tertiary institutions, including federal government-owned and private schools operating within the state. All of them shut down. And again, like I said, first steps, right? Okay, proactive, preemptive, if you will. But then begs the question, what else is being done after the schools are shut down? What else is being done after the schools are shut down? For example, Matawale, Minister of State for Defense, who at some point the president ordered to relocate to Kebbi, if I'm not mistaken, until the girls are returned, has come out to say a few things. You're also having other people coming out to say these attacks, these kidnappings are politicized. They're using it as shields. So we're having a lot of statements coming out from the government end while the schools are being ordered to shut down. But the biggest question remains, what else is being done? For example, if you shut down a school, you shut down all schools in Bauchi State, how long are they supposed to be shut down for? Especially if there's no other thing happening security-wise to ensure that these bandits and criminals and terrorists and what have you are being neutralized. Here's another question. When you shut down the schools, especially when you shut them down perhaps a little longer, so like an entire term, entire month, maybe 2 months, where do these children end up going? Because the report that came out today is that children between 15 and 20 were kidnapped on the farms. Let's get a little bit of detail on that one. 13 teenage girls, as a matter of fact, abducted in Borno State. And this attack was said to have happened by members of the Islamic State West African Province, ISWAP terror group. This happened yesterday, and the news broke about it first thing this morning. The Deputy Speaker, Borno State House of Assembly, Abdullahi Askira, who confirmed the abduction, said the victims were abducted on their fields in Musa district. Get this. Musa district, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Musa district is one of the areas that was considered to be slightly less volatile. And so you're having people from the neighboring district, the neighboring community, being relocated to this district so that, they are able to sort of like continue on with livelihoods and, have something to keep them busy, right? So Askira Uba constituency is where this district is, Musa farming area. And Huyim is the one that I said that, is the neighboring community where people had to be relocated to Musa to come and do their farming because Musa was deemed relatively safer, right? And then you now have these young children between the ages of 15 and 20, 13 of them who went to their farmland to harvest their crops, then being attacked by these terrorist groups. So, this is some sort of management policy, I think, by the government of Borno State to say, okay, let's relocate people from one state, one area that is very problematic, take them to another area, and then they're still being caught in this web. I think there was another report that happened where I'll get the report and share as well, women as well abducted on their farmlands. So, which brings me back to the point that I was trying to make sense of. When you shut down these schools, there's no other commitment to ending the insecurity in this, and what you're doing is taking this first step. Nothing else really follows, nothing that we can see really following. And then these children, to pass the time, perhaps go to their farmlands, try to go help their parents out, because they're not in school at this time, so they should make themselves useful. Young children, a lot of these ones are, and then they go to all of these farmlands, and these things are still happening. So what will be the next course of action? This, my mind, especially in light of some of the stories that we saw again. As you're getting some sort of reprieve here, and you're getting some sort of a cause to say, oh, thank God, it's still happening. So that means that there is a lot to be done, coordinated efforts, and even state governors at this point are calling on community members, and I get that, I really do, but can we do much more? Let's do more on the big three. It's 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Hustle is not easy, but with Predator Energy, you got the edge to keep going and winning.
Now, Predator Energy Drink is giving you the chance of a lifetime to win a Chelsea Football Club experience in London with Brother Shaggy, plus lots of airtime, flat screen TVs, and smartwatches.
Buy Predator Energy Drink. Text the unique code under the cap with your name, age, and location to 50221. This is your chance to go from the street to Stamford Bridge. Promo runs from October 1st to 31st December 2025.
Applicable on MTN, Airtel, and 9 mobile subscribers. Predator Energy. Rule your kingdom.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
It's a place where you can go trending. A place where you can air your views.
I want to report the situation.
Only on your number one station for talk.
This is not the way. We cannot continue like this.
95.1 Nigeria Info. Abuja. Let's talk.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 9.1 Nigeria Info.
Thank you for staying with us. It's still 95.1 Nigeria. I remain Somi here on the mic, taking you through all our conversations on Hard Facts today. If you're just joining us, welcome. Let's see some of the things that we are hearing in the news. Started with the situation on insecurity. An unfortunate thing, I think, that we have to keep on yammering and yapping on about this, because in the face of everything that we are seeing, the response of the government is an ending this decisively. So we're talking about the massive shutdown of schools across the country. It's shared with you, apart from what happened in Niger State, where you're having places as close to the FCT even being affected. Schools shut down, under lock and key. Clients of Daily Trust, for example, visited the Zuma Rock area, Sabon Wuse, all into government area of Niger State on Monday. But of course, you're familiar with the names because we're boundary, and all the schools are under lock and key. You have the likes of Dakwa, Madala, and Zuma Rock area, which are pretty right on the cuff of Dede district of the FCT, which lies on the boundary between Abuja and Niger State. I'd also mentioned what's happening in the Garam communities. Some areas around Bari Area Council of the FCT, which also boundary Kagako local government area, Kaduna State, and checks across all these areas show that schools are being shut. Again, this is important because, while you're thinking, oh yeah, it's still a bit far off from us, there is the Niger situation that happened, Niger is just right by us here. At some point, news was circulating about, but again, nothing confirmed on that one yet. But yeah, it's getting closer to home. And imagine a situation where the FCTA says shut down all schools in the FCT. Yeah, imagine that they say shut down all schools in the FCT. Now, again, great first step to take if you want to secure the lives of these children. But then you also consider the fact that in many of these states, are there provisions made for some kind of learning to be going on while these schools are shut down, especially seeing as doesn't seem to be any necessary timeline given. And so, it might seem a little far away from you, but it's getting closer to home, right? It's getting closer to home. We're beginning to see some sort of kind of news of attacks going on. I mentioned last week some woman, maybe not necessarily related, but some woman just in a boundary town of the FCT was found. Her body was found. Also, news broke today, if I'm not mistaken, about some other town close to the FCT here where I think five bodies were just found with gunshots or wounds. And some stories are circulating around that one as well. Some things about how security forces just are known to use that area to dispose of bandits. But at this point, it's not clear really what's going on there. But you're beginning to get these fringe filters of information coming in. So yes, how do we make sense of this school situation closing thing? Because even like I said just before the break, say they're shut down for till the end of the year, till next year, for example, and these children have to go somewhere. What you're trying to avert by shutting down the schools, you may not necessarily do that. What you may have up doing is sending them out into the farms, into the fields for even more chances of attack. Because, some parents would try to keep their children at home, out of fear. But should we even be approaching this from a point of just fear and fear alone, right? So are we solving the problem by just shutting down schools and shutting them down entirely? The entire Bauchi is on lockdown. No schools open, not even the tertiary institutions. Think about the ripple effects of that. Again, and I say this, if there is no side-by-side action on the part of the government, on the part of the state governors, the military, even the community, to better protect themselves from these attacks by terrorists and bandits and what have you. So a lot is going on, especially with the closed schools, and perhaps we may not necessarily just say, oh yeah, this was the problem. Perhaps we should open up ourselves to more conversation around long term. Is this going to be sustainable? And if not, what are the measures that we need to put in place? These, I think, are some of the conversations that are being had right now, but our government also needs to take note of that. It's very easy to just shut them down and think, oh yeah, you've dealt with the issue, but have we actually dealt with the issue? Let's take a quick update, just in case you hadn't heard already, from the Niger State situation where 315 people were said to have been kidnapped, and 50 of those people, 50 children, as a matter of fact, escaped from that incident. Just a quick update there. On Sunday, the Christian Association of Nigeria, as represented within the Papiri area, the Papiri community in Agwara local government area of Niger State, came out to say that indeed 50 children had escaped. And I think it happened, according to news reports, when one of the vehicles conveying the children broke down. Right? It broke down, and I think the motorbikes in the convoy, if you will, of the bandits and this terrorists who had kidnapped these children sort of went ahead with the other vehicle while the other one stayed back, and they were trying to fix it. And that's when as many as 50 of these children, not really the younger ones, not the really younger ones, the ones who were slightly older, according to news reports, were able to jump down from the truck and escape. And as God will have it, according to the news reports, they ran into some good Samaritan who was able to sort of like point them in the right direction. And this is how you had the children escape. Reports have it that the escape happened on Friday and Saturday. Again, imagine just that entire experience for these young children and having to get back home. According to CAN, they've been reunited with their parents. And, after returning back to the school premises. Yeah, and so the identities were confirmed after staff traced and contacted their families. One of the men whose children, 3 of his children, I think, were kidnapped in this attack, was sharing his experience of how when he heard the news, he rushed to the school, to go and confirm to see if his children were among, but not one of them was among them. Now, updated figures coming from the school at this time, thanks to Han. According to the latest breakdown, 50 pupils who escaped have returned home, just like I said earlier. 141 pupils were not abducted during the attack. So you can imagine if they were able to make away with about 303 pupils and students, and then the 12 teachers. Can imagine how many children were in that school. So of all the children, 141 were not abducted, now, although 303 students, I'm saying 303 students, 12 teachers. So when I giving out some of this information, I'm being specific about, the students or the pupils who had returned, and then the separate number for the children, staff. So of the 315 altogether, pupils, students, teachers, 253 persons still remain in captivity, and this comprises of 236 primary school pupils, 3 children of staff, 14 secondary school students, 12 staff members, which the school further confirmed that the primary section has 430 pupils, including 377 boarders and 53 day students. The chairman of CAN in Niger State and proprietor of the school, Bulus Yohanna, described the escape of the 50 pupils as a significant relief, but said that the situation remained distressing. Understandably, of course, because whatever happened that got those children to escape was solely by their own effort. Nothing else. No military help, no state government help, no nothing. They said they received the return of the children with gratitude and relief, but their hearts remained with those still in captivity, and they're urging everyone to continue praying for their safety, adding that the school, community leaders, religious bodies, and government authorities are working with security agencies to ensure the safe rescue of all those still held by the abductors. They're calling on everyone to stay calm and remain hopeful as efforts continue. Oh God, stay calm, he says. May God help us to do that. Anyway, this was a statement issued and signed by Daniel Aturi, media aide to the bishop and chairman of CAN. So yes, we are having this situation persisting, schools being shut down as the first line of action, possibly, hopefully not the only one. And where does that leave the rest of us? That's the question. And when I open up the phone lines, I hope that you would join me as we make sense of it together. Moving on, in Kaduna State, a situation seems to be degenerating as quickly as possible. Again, still on insecurity, but this time around looking at claims by Nasir El-Rufai, former governor of the state, where he came out to talk about how the current administration is paying or has paid 1 billion naira to bandits. Well, the Kaduna State government, under the administration of Ubsani, is not taking this lying down, after they've come out to give Nasir El-Rufai 1 week to substantiate his claim that indeed Ubasani's administration paid 1 billion naira to bandits. They dismissed El-Rufai's allegation as false and politically motivated. Everything seems carrying that tag these days. They said he must provide proof or tender a public apology for the claim, failing which he would face legal action. El-Rufai had alleged during a recent interview on Channels Television that the state government made payments to criminal groups as part of arrangements. But in the statement on Sunday, Sule Shuaibu San, the state's commissioner for internal security and home affairs, said these were reckless, baseless, and deliberately misleading claims. They criticized the former governor of the state for weaponizing a sensitive security issue for political grandstanding. That's what they called it, noting that such conduct falls below the standards expected of a former governor. And they reiterated that Governor Sani, the current governor of the state, has never authorized, negotiated, or paid any money to criminal elements. They said not 1 naira and not 1 kobo. The statement highlighted that the Office of the National Security Advisor had previously dismissed similar claims by El Rufai as unfounded and inconsistent with national security practices, affirming that neither the federal government nor state governments engage in ransom payments to criminals. Okay. Kaduna's administration emphasized their community-focused security strategy, which they said included strengthened military operations, engagement with legitimate community leaders, and improved access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. The state, they said, engaged communities, not bandits. This was the very strong worded response that they've come out to give. And, they went in hard on El Rufai, also referencing past accusations from senior members of El Rufai's administration, alleging that he, El Rufai, was the one that used public funds to appease certain groups. And they said, look, what a paradox that now you come to use these claims against us. So this is what's happening in Kaduna State. It makes you wonder, really and truly, because I remember at some point during Malam Nasir El Rufai's term as governor of Kaduna State, he was very, very vocal about matters about insecurity, especially how it was being dealt with. I remember him even giving so much as a very, very detailed explanation on how they came to be these herder attacks within the state. Kaduna was quite the hotbed. Southern Kaduna was quite the hotbed. I remember as far back as the 2015, 2016, probably earlier. As a matter of fact, he, in an interview, traced it back to the 2011 elections. Yes, as the period when there started to be this influx of this foreign elements. In some instances, he did say that these were people that, came into the country, and all of that, and then they were put to use and blah, blah, blah. He had quite a detailed explanation. And at some point, if I remember correctly, he was talking about the way to stem the ongoing crisis in the state at the time by having some sort of reconciliatory process where, going to be some form of appeasement to the people who felt slighted after they came in, were used and dumped. I don't remember it being specific about monetary appeasements, but yes, these were some of the conversations during El Rufai governorship period in Kaduna State. So yes, seeing this and then him now coming to raise this out, I can imagine the response by the Basani led administration and why even they are sort of like trying to point fingers at him at some point. But yeah, this is what's going on. They've given him 1 week to prove the 1 billion naira in bandits, which would be quite an interesting thing, I think, if they were able to prove it. I don't know, do you see this being a problematic thing? I don't know. Really and truly, I feel like Malam El Rufai might be able to prove it. He should have the evidence. He was once governor of the state. He must understand the security architecture. That's one word that we're using a lot these days. And, making use of all the necessary apparatus to be able to substantiate his claim. He probably has receipts, and we very much like to see it because this culture that we're seeing of state governors negotiating with bandits is becoming, more and more of a thing. Probably during, if there's such thing as Uba's team might be insinuating during Malam El Rufai's time, it probably was on the down low, not like the way it is now, where it's very out there, it's very brazen. I mean, we have the Katsina State example. I saw a video that was trending over the weekend about some celebration going on. I think one of the bandits' daughters getting married or something. It's more brazen, it's more out there. And so there's this culture that we're seeing with some state governors who are very, very unreluctant, very, very not unwilling to negotiate with these bandits and things like that. So if Malam El Rufai is able to prove that it's happening in Ubasani's time, it may not shock anyone, not necessarily, but then it might also speak to a few things that if our president is serious about ending this insecurity matter, he should be able to delve into, investigate, and cut this wicked culture off where you're having to negotiate with these bandits and these terrorists. 1 billion naira is not a small amount of money. So yes, we'd very, very much like to see how the situation progresses, and we hope that Malam Erufai would be able to come out and say this and this and this is what you did. And then hopefully they have receipts as well, where, as they alleged, this is something that was referenced during his administration, and they have receipts about it. And then let's all just come and throw everything out in the open, hoping that we have a president that will be willing to take action and say this is where the problem lies, and this is why these people are emboldened, and they can come out with more sophisticated weapons in some instances than our military, and do damage, and still nothing happens. Instead, we're having even heads of our security forces saying that if these bandits, the ones that they arrest, now if these bandits, that they arrest are open to peace, they will not say no. Remio, my head. All right, those are the stories that we are looking at today, and very much like to get your thoughts on them. So I'll just go ahead and open up the phone lines right now. We're looking at the response of government to insecurity, especially as it regards the shutting down of schools. Is there a timeline? Perhaps some of you who have been following over the weekend have heard of some sort of a timeline when the schools will be shut down for, and you've also heard of some other coordinated efforts that we're seeing the government do so that we know that we're not punishing our children. I mean, it's one thing to leave the schools open and have them exposed and at risk to these attacks, but it's another thing also to shut the schools down for an unknown period of time, sometimes even have these children end up going to the farms because they're still attacking people, they're still kidnapping young women on the farms. How much more young men? What would be, perhaps if you've heard, some other coordinated attempt or effort that is being put in place by the government so that they can address this, as opposed to, just punishing these children by shutting them down, no other means of educating them or keeping them busy, nothing. What are your thoughts on that? Let's share. And then also the Kaduna State fiasco, where it's one government accusing the other back and forth. 07009510000. 009-597-4869. And on WhatsApp, it's 009-993-0137. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Somi.
Yes, sir.
This is Abubakar, colleague from Gawala. How are you doing?
I'm good, Abubakar. I'm good. Better than last week.
It's perfect. National crisis. Security crisis. We are taking a down and a red any form of kidnapping adoption to something that is condemnable in any form. But just even stories of kidnapping captured by the media is the one people are focusing on. What about rape that involves individuals who are not who does not belong to an institution? Yesterday, when we are coming from Kaduna, in between Jere and somewhere they call Power, bandits towards the highway, kidnapped a lot of Nigerians traveling.
Yesterday,
around 10 o'clock, people are scampering. People are abandoning their vehicles, running into the bush. A lot of travelers were abducted into the forest. Yesterday, this was never reported in any media. We are just focusing, it's not just. We are focusing on two girls kidnapping, the Ruka worshippers. A lot of people, bandits and kidnappers are enjoying free range in Nigeria. It's unfortunate. We don't know when this will come to an end. There is no life. It's no life. Social is never last in any country. Breakthrough is coming. Solution is coming.
we
don't do that. We don't do that with modern things. We have broker peace in many countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Let's get your thoughts on it. We have 5 minutes before the commercial. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
My name is Adela Victor from Gifalaji.
Welcome, Mr. Victor.
What is happening in Kaduna, Rufai and the governor accusing each other, you negotiate, I don't negotiate, you started this, I don't start. You see, they are playing bad politics. You see, there are some Nigerians, influential Nigerians, politicians, who know what is going on with this country in terms of insecurity. But you see, we are trying to play hide and seek in a fast game, and a lot of blood are being shed now and then. You see, when he was governor, we knew what happened in Canada. He negotiated with these people, with some of these criminals. You see, he shouldn't deny this. You see, now he accused the federal government of starting it, but he started it first. So I think nobody knows what is happening in this country. But you see, some people in this country, maybe they are afraid to touch them. They see themselves as untouchable. Then the other time, Shogman also came out and told everyone that some military generals are behind this thing because of what they are benefiting from. Last Sunday, yesterday, I listened to the former governor of Abia State, saying that this problem in this study is due to political issues. These people, they know what is going on. They should come out and help us. You see, Nigerians are being killed every day. So before these people bring down this country, let these people come out and help us instead of playing politics because of the next election. Because they want to retain, they want to stay in power. That is why some of them are playing politics. And maybe they are afraid to tell the truth, or maybe they don't want to step on truth. They know what is happening in this country. Thank you.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. On Facebook, Wunang Elias Nandi Elias, I see you. Says good afternoon. I'm watching live from Jos, Plateau State Capital. Thank you for joining us. Irimaya Samuel Garam, I see you as well. He says even Niger State schools have been closed. What are they doing to stop insecurity? All right, let's take this on WhatsApp. Shutting down of schools may not be the lasting solution. They must find another solution. This is from Hafsat, who says good afternoon. Good afternoon to you too. And it says, Somi, apparently the IGP said there was no need to go after the abductors of the school children in Niger State because they willingly returned the children, ignoring the trauma they caused those children. The good thing is that the international community is following the turn of events in Nigeria now more than ever. And if a foreign government decided to take action against Nigeria over the outrageous comments made by the IGP, some people will be blaming it on the innocent, claiming they travel abroad to demarcate Nigeria as if the world is not watching. What a shame. I have to go and check, really and truly, the IGP said these things. I know that there was a statement accredited to him about, the response to bandits if they wanted to toe the path of peace. I know I saw him speak on that, but to say that they will not be going after the bandits. First of all, in Niger State, the children have not been returned. The 50 that we heard of escaped. So what could possibly be going on in his head? Did he really say this? I'm going to look for that statement. All right, let's take some WhatsApp calls. Good afternoon.
Hello, Auntie Somi.
Yes, sir.
I greet you, Mazi Destiny Anthony.
Welcome, Mazi.
Auntie Somi, let me start from Malam Nasir El-Rufai.
I'm with you, sir. Go ahead.
Of Governor Batani. I think El-Rufai is pained that what he couldn't do, Obasani is doing in Kaduna State. Since at least there has been relative peace in southern Kaduna since this current governor came in. But under El-Rufai, it was like it wasn't clear, even if anybody is dying. His statement about body bags, we've not forgotten. He so accepted paying money to these people in order for people to have peace. So that he's in pain and he's envious of the fact that Obasani is not just building roads and developing Kaduna State. There has been peace. So if you want to know who among them is a better governor, ask people of southern Kaduna, between El-Rufai and Obasani, who would they prefer? So somebody like El-Rufai should go and sit down and cover his face in shame. Because as far as I'm concerned, for somebody to make reckless statements, you are threatening about carrying people in body bags, all manner of statements. That's why I said what I said, and I stand by that word. when I saw people be trying to romance DC, that profile is there. If he dares say that he's going to partner with somebody like Erufai, they will frustrate him. What Jonathan saw in 2014, 2015 will be a child's play to what they will do to Peter Obi if he decides that he's going to work with this thing. Erufai is angry just because this administration didn't give him space. And I'm happy that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not allow him into his cabinet.
All right.
Because he doesn't do well for this nation.
All right, then.
Thank you, my sister. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Mazi. We need to go for a quick commercial. When we come back after the news, the contributions from you will continue. Stay with us.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
Everyone says I'm beautiful.
Archbishop of Special Duties, lamenting that the nation was borrowing not only money, but also technology needed for survival. He said Nigeria could not continue pretending that all is well when citizens were being abducted and vulnerable groups attacked across communities. The Archbishop also warned that unresolved violence would shape the next generation, insisting that healing would only come when Nigerians rise above ethnic, religious, and class divisions. Over 8,000 civil servants in the FCT administration will sit for promotion exams this week. In a statement in Abuja, the chairman of the FCT Civil Service Commission, Emeka Eze, said the civil servants cut across 165 cadre. According to Eze, the promotion examinations are scheduled to hold for 5 days, starting from Tuesday to Saturday. Eze recalled that the FCT, under the leadership of Nyesom Wike, blazed the trail as the first commission in Nigeria to conduct its promotion by CBT. And that wraps up Abuja today. More news comes your way. Stay tuned. My name is Dorcas Atimoke Bija.
Information is key.
It is power.
Information rules the world.
Get informed.
Stay informed. Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk.
There's a place where you can get it all trending.
People are dropping on their vehicle, are running, leaving their vehicle.
A place where you can air your views.
I want to report the situation.
Only on your number one station for talk.
This is not the way. We cannot continue like this.
95.1 Nigeria Info. Abuja. Let's talk.
Welcome back to Hard Facts.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Let's get back to your contributions on the Big Three this afternoon, looking at the state of insecurity in the country and the response of our government generally. We've seen massive shutting down of schools, which is a considerable first line of response. But what else have we seen? Please, would like for you to share, just in case, so that we know that we are not shifting them from one kind of punishment to another. Good afternoon, Somi. Hua from Duse says, the latest trend of schools being shut down by the northern governors in fear of persistent attacks is not good at all. If it is an election, you will see mass deployment of personnel just to see the process achieved. The government here appears to be mortgaging the future of the children of the states affected. This should be a source of major concern to the authorities. The trend should not be allowed to prevail for long because it portends greater danger for the country's future leaders. Thanks, James Aha. Got your message. The phone lines are still open. Call me up. Let's talk. 07 00951 0000 009 597 4869. And on WhatsApp, it's 009 993 0137. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Welcome, sir.
I'm Olatunji calling from Kubwa.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, concerning the issue of insecurity. So I wanted to, because on this program on Sunny Side, because I want to say everything she talks about yourself. Because when we are talking on the program on Sunny Side, we are talking about for example, some even community matters also. You can see the way to follow up this security is different to every state and region. For example, those communities now that all these, are you with me, ma'am?
I'm here with you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, that those things are happening. For example, we are talking about citizens and leaders. Even the analyst on studio that time was saying about, he was not even clearing us on the way to even until the presenter now gave us a venue. He was like detecting the state. It's the state. Before we say the nation has failed, the state has already. For example, in Southwest, all these things or schools being closed I don't think it can happen in the southwest because of they have some security architectural work, and that is if a state can build on a security architectural or some policy, it will now call on the central government to put back up. So, for example, now like communities now, there are some places that are ungoverned because the governors here, this is happens not today. It's by negligence of past governors. They negotiate. I can hear of Kaduna talking of negotiate. They will negotiate because the political will is not there. Because the politics of those days are like, let me just get there. Many of them are not prepared. They are just politicians. They have godfathers that can put them there, but they don't have experiences or they don't have say to the rural area, to the community.
Okay.
And people also. Hello.
I'm with you, sir, but you need to wrap it up.
And people also, they have that. What I'm just trying to say, we can't continue bringing out sports. All these things don't happen today. It's a very long issue.
Okay.
This time, everything is coming up. But what I think, people need education. People need education. We need to, because the way we portray our for example, I'm a bandit man now. I was in my place listening and feeling, and I'm hearing the citizen of that country talking bad. I will be happy that this citizen that I would be ashamed if I was forced, man. They were even complaining. So people need education. Even our leaders, who are the leaders? It's people from now that will later become the leader. But what we need is education.
Right.
We need education. Let our people be educated.
Okay.
That's just it. I believe.
Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. This number, can I call it on the morning, the program in the morning?
Absolutely. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Perhaps you might have to continue your thoughts there, but we hear you. Thank you for calling in. Hello? Hello? Hello, good afternoon. Hello, are you there? Okay, let's take a voice note.
Mr. Ayewo Omokaye, you can see what we are talking about in this country. Meaning, when they kidnap those children, nobody is tracing them. Everybody just stay. Security agencies, everybody will just stay in his or her office. They will now start arranging. Before a vehicle of that magnitude, maybe it's a truck, before it could break down along the road, if there is like people trailing them, like following them to know where they are taking those children to be monitoring them, they can even rescue. Even one person can even rescue, because those armed bandits that are with the vehicle, I don't think they will be powerful enough to overwhelm security agency that will be trailing them. We have choppers in this country. They are choppers that they can move faster than car themselves on express. Some move up to 800 kilometers per hour. They are choppers like that. That from here to Niger, it can move within some 30 minutes. It's already in that position. What is our federal government do? This is just a deliberate attempt just to allow things to be going on like this. I'm not getting it seriously. So annoying.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Let's see who else we have here on WhatsApp. Okay. All right. Let's take this.
Good afternoon, Sister Somi. This is Mr. Gideon voicing out from Gwagwalada. Sister Somi, number one, we want to know the people that are released in Kwara State. How did they get releasing them? Did they get them in the camp of the victim, or did they pay ransom? We Nigeria want to know actually how did it happen. Meanwhile, we also thank God that they are being released, but we want to know the process, how it happened. Then number two, Sister Somi, for me, shutting down the schools, for me, is a clear evidence that the government cannot win this battle. Imagine a government. Do we know what government is all about? Sister Somi, do you know that after God, the next thing here on earth is the government? Government shutting down the school is a clear evidence that the this government does not have solution for this. Thank you.
All right, let's get back to the phone lines. Good afternoon. Call me back. Apologies for that. Hello.
Hello, Somi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is James. I'm calling you from Lifecamp.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, I want to talk in respect of government shutting down schools. So technically, what we are seeing is the bandits are above the government, and technically, what the government is trying to say is the bandits have already defeated them, which is unimaginable to me that terrorists are now having power, making children not to go to school. And it shows that the government are also happy making it willingly to shut down school, because this is part of the agenda of these people. When they started as a Boko Haram, saying Western education is wrong, is forbidden. And you know, these are a set of people who migrated from Boko Haram to become what they are today. Come on, it's so worrisome. And the issue of El-Rufai, so me, you see, sometimes when I mostly sometimes don't take El-Rufai for a serious person anymore. Because this same El-Rufai, when he was a state governor, if you could remember vividly, he was on his TV station saying they paid bandits, they paid all those guys to stop killing in Southern Kaduna. But end of the day, what does this killing stop in Southern Kaduna? The answer is no. So these guys sometimes they take politics for it is well for with Nigeria. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. All right, so there seems to be a problem with your network. Please call back. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
My name is Tony from Nasarawa.
Go ahead, sir.
You see, it baffles me that in this country, a part of the country closing schools, the future of greater of tomorrow because of bandits. You know that those governors in North, all of them know where these bandits is. Why can't they face the bandits to you as a governor to close schools? The future of the children, you are closing it because of bandits. What is your work there? What makes you to be a governor? A president is supposed to worry. To him now to stand up, to know that bandits already have upper hand. Now we have two presidents in one Nigeria. Let President Tinubu stand up for his feet and battle this issue. A whole state is closing the whole school because of bandits, and you are a governor. Is it not a simple something? What makes you to be a governor there? Police IG, what is the work? The general, colonels, wearing such. What is their work? Is packing money, stealing money, and they are there. Terrorists are killing soldiers, killing police like foul. Whole general, they need a whole general down and kill him like foul. And the soldiers, CJ, answering soldiers. Now they are closing school in North. Why? Are we? My sister, I don't understand this country now. The President Tinubu, is he coming to rule or coming to acquire power?
All right.
2027.
All right, sir. Questions indeed that need answering. And yes, I have not forgotten about you who sent the voice note asking about the Kwara situation. I'll come back to that in a bit. But again, more questions here, this time around from Ibrahim from Gadua Estate. He says, good afternoon, Somi. So many questions asked, very few answers. He says the question you didn't ask is, who are your ministers of defense and what are their qualifications? People who couldn't secure their states as governors are now ministers of defense. Are we serious about fighting this insurgency and banditry? Are the school children from Niger State primary and secondary school students? Do primary school pupils stay in the hostels? Schools being shut isn't that what Boko Haram was about? Western education as haram. Have they won? Ibrahim is asking. He continues, whatever happened to the Safe Schools initiative? What happened to the list of sponsors of terrorism from the UAE? So many questions begging for answers. And he says the media needs to dig deep. Have a blessed week ahead, Ibrahim. Again, with this one. Okay, let's start with the Kwara situation. Just so that we are clear, what we heard as far as how those 38 members of the congregation abducted by bandits during their Thanksgiving service on CAC Church in Okei-Shegun, Eruku in Ekiti State local government area, Ekiti local government area of Kwara State, the governor of the state, which I mean you would expect should be the authority that will come out and give us the information as to what happened, right? He came out, Abdurrahman Abdurazak, announcing their release in a statement issued by his chief press secretary, Rafiu Ajakaye, and this announcement was made on Sunday. And he said that the release of the victims was due to the efforts of the president and the security agencies. However, he did not let on the details of where the congregation was rescued from and if there was any ransom paid. So even this is the information that we have to work with. We don't have anything more than this. At least I don't have anything more than this at this time. Perhaps as the situation progresses, as the days go by, maybe we might get a little more if we're able to hear from some of the one or two of the 38 persons who were returned. Yes, let's put it that way. But yes, they regained their freedom, and the governor said it was due to the efforts of the president. As a matter of fact, he said he was immensely grateful to the president's direct initiative that made the regaining of their freedom happen. He said the president called off his scheduled trip for the G20 meeting in South Africa to attend to the breaches in Kwara and Kebbi states, and also the president directed heightened security deployments to Kwara, which underlined his firm commitment to the safety and well-being of our people and Nigeria as a whole. So, according to him, this is all due to the president's direct initiative that made that happen. Yeah, so that's all the information we have to work with. I don't know if that answers any of your questions. Going back to Ibrahim's questions here, the Minister of Defense, Badar, I believe, Minister of State for Defense, is the one who was once governor of Zamfara State. As I recall, the very, very controversial BBC documentary that showed the dealings of bandits in Zamfara State came out during Matawa time as governor. Perhaps the question we should have been asking ourselves is, why didn't Nigerians raise alarm when we saw that this is a person that was, what call it now, enlisted, appointed as our Minister of State for Defense? I remember scratching my head about that and asking questions, but we were vocal enough in expressing our concern. It shouldn't be a social media post, because I know where some of these questions, or at least one of these questions, is coming from. There's a social media post that made some young northern lady, reeling out what the Minister of Defense, the roles are, and how we have a Matawale in that position. But this conversation is 2 years, going on 3 years late, because from the minute Matawale was appointed as Minister of State for Defense, that's when we should have been asking these questions. That's when Nigerians should have been very vocal to say, no, we would not have this person take up such a sensitive position. But here we are, 2 years down the line. And again, that doesn't excuse the president to be able to call out his Minister of Defense and Minister of State for Defense while he's, running rotation on the security chiefs to say, we're failing, what's going on? But no, we're not seeing any of that either. He should be able to take his minister's task where there's clear failure. But perhaps, do you expect a Matawale to give what he does not have? If he could not handle banditry in his state, as when he was governor, and as a matter of fact, some of these accusations we're seeing being thrown around left, right, and center between the Kaduna State past governor and current governor, were some of what we're hearing during Matawale's time. Really, how much trust can we put that he would deliver us in this condition? As far as the Niger State primary and secondary school students, he said to us, do primary school people stay in the hostels? Yes. There have been known instances where there is a boarding facility for primary school students. I don't know about the Niger State, because they seem to be having so many students in that school. I don't know what the particulars of that case is, and why you have that many students in the school, students and pupils, and also that many pupils, primary school students, in a boarding facility. But yes, it's not unusual to have boarding facilities for primary school students. As far as the other questions that you have, my brother, time will not permit us to get into it. But the Safe Schools Initiative is definitely a conversation that we should get into. At this point, I'm sure a lot of us can already tell that it's one of those many finely worded policies of government that is just a conduit for monies to be stolen from, clearly, because there's no other explaining it. Dr. Majid was here last week Wednesday when he was talking about some of the components that make up the Safe School Initiative, and I think I heard him say very correctly, NSCDC, some of the security apparatus built into the Safe School Initiative. But then when you see these schools, what you see is clearly no security personnel available or around, and then even when they are, you are hearing talks about how they are recalled just minutes or hours before some of these attacks happen. So so many questions indeed. Yeah, as far as the list of sponsors, we've gone on and on about that, and I don't know that our government is going to release it. At some point, I was saying if the US has the list, they should just release it. They should not even wait for the Nigerian government at this point. Whoever has it, release it. But are there so many vested interests that they can't even release it? And we have to keep asking and wondering and scratching our heads every now and then. Again, so many questions and not enough time to answer them, at least not right now. Let's take one more message and one more call. Good afternoon, Somi. Western education is haram and these terrorists are on it. They have succeeded in executing this agenda in the north and they are rapidly moving fast to the south, starting from the southwest. Many local government areas have been taken by the terrorists in Zamfara, Sokoto and Katsina, now Bauchi State, which their government has shut down all schools due to the fear of possible terrorist attacks in the schools across the state. Now, are they winning? Aren't they? Don't forget that the president went to US back then looking for foreign help, and now the same US is offering us help under his watch. He doesn't want